Now, speaking of battling, let's go back to David Penzer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Souled Out continues with this one-fall contest between two of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. Introducing first, from Charlotte, North Carolina, 13 times heavyweight champion of the world, Nature Boy, Ric Flair!
I have seen this man walk out of the entranceway of the locker room, whatever you call it, many, many times for big matches, for big title matches. But I would venture to say that in his career, and obviously you can't be a 13-time world champ without having I would think, a very large ego. I would venture for his ego, for himself, this one of his most important matches. Back to David Penzer we go.
His opponent from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He is a 5-time World Heavyweight Champion, Bret the Hitman Hart!
Bret the Hitman Hart, one of the greatest wrestlers ever, who says, I'm the best there ever was, the best there ever is, the best that ever will be. And he's going to have a chance, gentlemen, to prove it tonight at Souled Out.
Well, this has been a long-term, behind-the-scenes, shall we say, rivalry. In Ric Flair, you have the man who has more world's title reigns than anyone in the history of professional wrestling. And a lot of wrestling fans, a lot of writers, a lot of wrestlers consider Ric Flair the best of all time. But Bret Hart has taken exception in a very vocal manner through newspaper columns, through radio interviews. Keep in mind now, their paths have not crossed in years. And you could just tell over the course of the past month or so, Ric Flair had bottled it all in. He's finally exploded. Now we're going to find out all that speculation can be put aside, and we're going to answer the question right here with Flair and Bret Hart.
Well, like Flair said on Nitro, he said, say it again, that you're the best there is, best there was, the best there'll ever be. And Bret Hart looked him right in the eye and said, well, I guess to be the man, I'll have to beat the man. And that really sparked Flair.
Hart's going to go on the outside, and a lucky young fan will never forget this moment.
Hey, turn around right there, homie.
There's a lot of moments tonight these fans won't forget.
Well, you're not kidding. So it's Bret Hart's debut in WCW, and you're not going to find a bigger match for him. Bret the Hitman Hart, of course, his patented move, the sharpshooter. Ric Flair has the figure-4 leg lock. Two of the greats of all time, and as we had said leading up to this, in a dream match, and you're a part of it here at Souled Out.
Yeah, talk about a night of firsts.
Wow.
One after the other this evening at Souled Out.
Now there is a mind game that Ric Flair is the master of. And everyone will tell you that, and he's starting already, guys.
He's got the credentials.
Yes, he does.
18 World Heavyweight Championships between these two men.
The Hitman. Side headlock takeover, Flair. You know, in this, they're starting out with wrestling holds and counter moves, and both men, I think, are going to try to employ the same tactic. They're going to try to show each other why they both claim they're the best. It's not only a case of trying to win, and I don't think a quick pin would serve either man. It would give them some bragging rights, but I think they want to extend this thing a little bit to allow them to show the other man exactly what they're made of. Hiccup and a hard slam by Bret the Hitman Hart.
Well, you know, when you reach the plateau of these two athletes, record, reputation, and how you're perceived by the public and your peers means an awful lot to you. And that's what they're shooting for now. Pretty soon, Flair will be comparing records with Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, you know, it's an old cliche, but right now you can take all the record books and throw them out the window. You can't deny what Ric Flair has meant to being the World Heavyweight Champion. Bret Hart 5 times, the champion of the World Wrestling Federation, coming into WCW, making an impact, making one of the biggest impacts. This is big-time sports right here, and two of the biggest players. But whatever happens tonight, fans will remember for a long, long time. Will lead both men, will help or hurt one man heading on into the future now.
Well, both men have a list of accomplishments a mile long, and we're going to find out who the best there is, at least on Saturday, January 24th, 1998.
Great point. Drop toe hold by Bret Hart. Bret Hart, great counter move. Bret Hart, he's putting on a figure 4, I do believe.
Wasted no time.
He's going to beat him with his own hold.
That's what he's trying to do. Bret Hart showing Ric Flair that he's got a figure 4, and Flair goes to the ropes. And I don't think Bret Hart minds that, really. He would love to win right now, but he's just showing Flair, hey, I can do it too.
Also keep in mind that in the last year or so, Bret the Hitman Hart has been using the figure 4. Majority of the time, he's been using that figure 4 around the ring post. So he has added that move to his offensive arsenal.
Flair in trouble, and Hart hooks him, and sends him over with a great vertical suplex. Outside in with a cover 1, 2, and Flair got out in 2. Right now, Bret Hart in control of the match, and he is content with the hook in the rear chin lock and driving Flair down into the mat.
Well, the only way one of these men is going to win the match is with a pinfall. They'll never give up.
One would think. It's quite a fight. And many wrestlers have different things that motivate them. It's obvious that Bret Hart and Ric Flair are motivated by much the same thing. And that is pride. Of not only being a good wrestler, pride of feeling that you're the best in the world. Flair has that knee hooked, and you can see what he's attempting to do, but, well, he...
nice counter by Flair into a top wrist lock.
Flair thought for a moment to drop him on the knee, but then countered, as you said, Mike, top wrist lock and down. Case of not only strength here, but balance. Notice how the top hand went off. Flair, I think, for a moment had an idea to go to the hair. Now, that's just an assumption on my part, I know, but when he took the one hand off, that gave Hart the added leverage to take him down. So Flair makes a mistake here, but he goes to the ropes, and now Flair is getting hot.
Whoa, got right back in his face. Oh, an open hand slap by the Hitman.
You hear that slap all the way to Toledo.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Or slap the man around at least, and Flair, and I think this is a smart move. Flair got his dander up, Hart shoved him down, slapped him down, and Flair needs to regroup here.
Right, it's also a way for Flair to not only cool off, but to get his mind back on the match and to figure out where his next strategy in this match against Bret the Hitman Hart is going to lead him.
Well, I know Ric Flair, when he rolled out of that ring, he's walking back and forth, and he's saying 13 times, 13 times, 5 times, 5 times. He's putting himself back in the right, proper mental order. And look at him. Look around at the legs, the hands.
Well, the eyes tell it all, don't they?
They sure do. Great camera work, guys, and great work in the truck there. A good look at Ric Flair, and a knee into the, actually the sternum, and right below the rib cage. One thing about Flair, the same thing about Hart. Flair not only can hit you, he knows where to hit you. He knows the pressure points. He knows what there's a back body. Oh! Bret Hart has countered him. Bret Hart is prepared. Scoop slam. Notice how he picked him up and almost waited a couple of seconds before he threw him down.
Really delivered that body slam with impact. 2 count. Flair just got the shoulder up.
And when you have the credentials of these two men and you're as good and has done what these two have done in this sport, you can't really pick a winner. It's just luck. The lucky man's going to win this one. That's what it boils down to.
Mike brought up a good point, and I said it was important for both men. Not necessarily what has happened in their career before then, but from now on. And Mike, you're saying whoever wins tonight will be the better man certainly on the 24th of January, 1998. But remains to be seen what's going to happen for this match, because right now Bret Hart is really digging in this side headlock. Notice how not only does he have his hands clenched together, but he is pulling in on the ear and the temple of Ric Flair, driving the knuckles of that right hand in. So yeah, it's more than a side headlock. Flair gets the break. That really hurt. You can see that. And that break enabled Flair to get in that cheap shot.
The dirtiest player in the game, they call him.
We wondered how long it would take before someone took a shortcut.
But not anymore. I think we know who it is.
Flair, and the referee with a warning, but Ric Flair grabs the head, the uppercut shot right to the face, to the bridge of the nose of Bret Hart. And now Ric Flair gets the offense going his way here.
Flair, I'm telling you, keep that fist open. Take him out of that corner.
Good Billy Silverman says, go ahead and keep up that physical pace, but get him out of the corner, and Flair is keeping it up. Into the ropes. Sleeper hold is on.
So many ways Hart can beat you.
Yes, it is. And he's got it on Flair. Flair turns it around. Oh, a great counter move. Ric Flair comes away with a spectacular counter.
Yeah, in so many ways, the Nature Boy Ric Flair can counter a move.
Wow.
Which you have to take into consideration, both these men have been in what is called big money matches. Big money titles, big money matches. They've been there before. They know what to do. This is nothing new for them. They just got to get their minds straight. Respect each other.
Both men
take a cheap shot.
Yes, both men hit hard, hit very, very hard as Flair.
Oh, there's that trick knee again.
Flair asked Billy Silverman to check with the official timekeeper ringside how much time was remaining in the match as Silverman whirled around. Downstairs goes Ric Flair.
You know, sometimes you have a spasm by your cartilage there in the knee, and it just causes a retransaction of the reverse by the thumb.
Yeah, right.
You know you're an idiot. Oh, a knee. Driven down and one. Flair's got a two and
see how quickly Flair went to make that pinfall attempt.
And Flair with a rear chin lock applied here to Bret Hart. Once again, they're going back to basic wrestling holds here. And once again, it's an effort to show not only each other, but show the fans around the world watching on a pay-per-view or on DirecTV around the world exactly what in the world they're made of, who the better man is. And I think so far in this matchup, we often say, well, if they were scoring on points, it would be a dead heat, and I think it really would be right now.
And Flair again with the shortcut, using the top rope for extra leverage and extra weight on that reverse chin lock.
Flair now gets him in the corner, boy. This is where you go to school. He rocked the head of the Hitman on that one.
Did you see the head snap back? Like a
He's the
whiplash.
Hitman, hit him.
The Hitman living up to the name because he is getting hit by Flair here, who sends him back to the corner. Now Flair, notice where the point was that time, guys. It was on the knee. And that may be the beginning, as simple as it may be, one kick and now chokehold. It may be Flair's beginning of softening the man up for his own figure four.
Stay off that throat. Watch the hair.
One-on-one competition. This is what WCW World Championship Wrestling is all about. That one was like a wake-up call to Bret Hart. And the second one,
Look at Hart fight back with each chop. He answers with a right hand.
Well, he's got both eyes open now. He's awake.
And now he has Flair rocking.
Bret Hart, right-handed blows Flair with a gut shot, though, stunned hard enough to send him into the ropes. And Bret Hart swinging neckbreaker.
Hart just stopped on a dime in mid-ring.
And you notice when he took him over, he took him halfway over, then stopped too. Puts added pressure on the neck.
So now Bret Hart with that great move. Wobbly but determined. What an athlete. Hits the corner, comes out kicking away. Side headlock and a bulldog. Oh, what a move.
So many ways he can beat you.
And he's gonna try it now. 1, 2, and... Oh boy, Billy Silverman's hand almost hit the mat. How about that? It's amazing how the tide of this match, how the momentum has shifted back and forth and back and forth. A lot of times in the match, you'll see a momentum shift maybe 2 times, 3. We've seen about 4 shifts here.
Hart with the advantage in the early going. Flair countering, coming back, and now Hart in the driver's seat. First the leg drop, now stakes the leg of the Nature Boy Ric Flair across that bottom strand of rope, and then comes crashing down with a cannonball right onto the knee of Flair.
Gonna do it again, too.
Well, he takes out one of those wheels. Flair's gonna have trouble slapping on that figure 4.
That's exactly what's going to happen. And Silverman now warning that to Bret Hart to stay away from the ropes. So both men have stretched the rules here.
Well, dual purpose to this attack on the knees and the legs of Ric Flair. Not only does it deprive Flair from applying the figure 4, but it also softens up Flair, possibly if he could get the sharpshooter. Now he's going to try and drag him out around the post.
He shoved him away.
Flair was prepared for that move.
He sure was.
You remember what happened when Flair pulled Bret Hart out to the ring post a while back?
Yeah, and remember what happened to Jim the Anvil Neidhart on an edition of Monday Nitro when he came in and told the world he thought his brother-in-law Bret Hart was the better man. Flair came out with an illegal object, knocked him down, put the figure 4 across the ring post, and tried to end the career of one Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, as Flair put the figure 4 on, Neidhart's legs was between Flair and the post.
Yes, it was, Brain, and there's really nothing funny about it, actually, and he's going to send him in. Boy, both men have taken an incredible amount of punishment here. But great wrestlers thrive on this. Here's a cover, 1, 2. They thrive on competition. Flair always wanted to be pushed to the limit. He always said, the bigger they are, the better I like it, and the longer it goes, the better it is for me. Called himself the 60-minute man.
Well, that's one of the first steps that Flair uses traditionally to set up the figure four, and he just tried to yank the knee almost right out of the socket.
Knee and hip. And Flair starting to get maybe a second or even third win here. And once again, the tide of the battle shifting back to Ric Flair. Classic matchup here on Souled Out in 1998. Flair's gonna do it again, dropping down to the knee. Here's the difference between the figure four by Bret Hart earlier and the one by Flair. Flair's really set this up. Hart put it on Flair just to show him, kind of spur the moment earlier in the early moments of the match, just to show Flair that he could do it. But Flair has primed him for it here, and if he gets it on, he could win it. Oh boy, that was a great counter move.
What a desperation move, but he caught him with the enziguri to the back of the head.
Flair didn't even see it coming, Brain.
Not at all. But he still goes back to the leg. That's why this man
Here
was
comes.
champion 13 times, and he's gonna...
Oh, he wasted a second. 1, 2, and Bret Hart almost beat him. Almost beat him with an inside cradle that time.
Backslide.
He's got him down. 1, 2, and Flair 3.
Barely.
And Hart's man. Hart was arguing. Hart thought he had the 3 count, but what happened was, when Billy Silverman saw the break and saw the legs lift, he stopped the count. But the argument has cost Bret Hart because Flair clipped him. And now Flair's going to be able to put it on, I believe, with ease. And he's in the center of the ring.
That's the most important factor. Nowhere for Hart to go.
Flair has him standing here in Dayton.
And you saw him clip him from behind, shades of Joe Theismann.
And almost got the shoulders down, and he's got to fight the pain. Shut it out. This is what being a big-time player is all about. Bret Hart trying to suck it up, block out the pain, but can he do it against the master here? Flair trying to taunt him, slapping the man in the face.
Just adding insult to injury by slapping him in the face.
And there's no title on the line here. There's just prestige of your own abilities, how you feel about yourself. It's me against you. See what you got. Can you beat me? Do it.
We're finding out what he's got here, Mike, today. Look at Bret Hart.
The title that's on the line in this match can be really summed up in one word: respect.
That's it. And he's trying to turn it. And the 13-time former world champion.
He got it over.
Well, sure, who would know better how to counter the figure four than Bret Hart, who applied it earlier?
And he got it on, and as you can see, once you have it reversed, it's easier to get out of it from that angle than the other way. Flair just pushed his way out of it, but the pressure's been done. But you can see the man who's in charge right now is Rick. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Little bit of playing possum once again.
But Hart hobbling to the corner.
And Flair goes 3/4 of the way across the ring diagonally.
In the air.
Yes, in the air, and an uppercut. Flair, oh boy, he's back again. Sending Bret Hart in, chest first. Hart slumps down. What a matchup. What a memorable matchup. Bret Hart blocked it. Flair was trying to pick him up, and a Russian leg sweep.
That snapped the neck of Flair back.
Slow to cover. Does not.
Did he
I'd go
want
for
to
the
cover?
sharpshooter there.
Well, that's why you're not in there. And back to the corner again. Oh! Knife edge chop. Oh, look at this.
Do it again.
He's daring Ric Flair to hit him.
He says, bring it on.
This
He's had enough.
This is why Bret Hart is one of the greatest ever. And both men, regardless of what happens here, will always be considered 2 of the greatest ever. And they're showing us why here tonight. This is a classic, and we're not done yet. Flair sets him down.
He blocked the inverted atomic drop and countered with a headbutt.
Well, the tide has certainly turned towards Bret Hart here.
It's been back and forth, and back and forth, and it's not done yet again. He picks him up using the tights, executes a backbreaker. 1, Flair kicks out and only 1.
But the backbreaker, that's usually the first thing he does before the sharpshooter.
Okay.
He's working on that lower back now.
Well, you know as well as I do, he'd love to put it on, but there's a lot more left in Ric Flair. Here comes Bret Hart to the middle turnbuckle. Bret Hart is up and off and connects.
Point of the elbow, caught him in the jaw.
Covers Flair, 1, 2, and
Almost.
he was using his arms and his upper body, but did not get his entire body across the shoulders for the lateral press, and thus Flair was able to get out of it.
You have to be very careful with Flair, because like I've said before, when you think you got him, that's when he's got you.
Yeah, could have been a mistake in what has been so far of basically a flawless match by both men. Up in the top rope.
They try and superplex him in from the top.
Oh boy, fans buzzing on this one. Oh, and he got him off. What did that for Bret Hart was the extra push he got as Flair was going over. He pushed off with his legs, and Flair hit very hard. He's going for the legs. Bret Hart steps through. He's going to try the sharpshooter.
Also very important, he's got him in the middle of the ring.
He sure does.
Let's see Flair reverse this one.
It's over.
He just tapped out.
Bret gave up. The Hitman Hart puts the sharpshooter on Ric Flair and wins in what will go down as a classic wrestling bout here on Souled Out. Bret, you earned this one, buddy. Our hats off to you. On this night, you were the better man.
What a debut for the Hitman.